Well, hey, MecKidz, Pastor Jonathan here. Kids, I need to say something really important, and I need you to listen like you've never listened before. First, everyone that you see is different than you, and you're different from everybody else. You and I, we look different. We speak different, we play different, we have different personalities, different colored hair, different colored skin, but we're all valuable, all of us. And that's because we were all created by God, and all of us are created in His image. But I have some sad news. Many people in this world do not believe that. They treat people differently, worse, simply because of the way that they look. But I do have good news. You and I, we can change that because we know the truth. Everyone in the world, everyone in the US, every single person on this planet is made in God's image. And that means when we look at another human being, we see a little part of God. I want to read to you a story. And I want you to listen very carefully to this story because it's one of the most important stories that we can hear right now. Because it's God's story about you and everyone around you. It's written by somebody named Trillia Newbell. Here it is. In the beginning, in fact, before the beginning, God had a very good idea. It was an even better idea than solar panels, the Super Soaker, color TV, chocolate chip cookies, fireworks, the life raft, roller skates, the X-ray machine. God's idea was to make people, lots of different people, who would all enjoy loving Him and all enjoy loving each other. They would all be made in His image. They would all be like mirrors reflecting what God is like. Because God is full of love, they would be full of love too. So God got to work. He made a beautiful world for people to live in. Then He made the first people, a man and a woman. And He said to them, be happy. Enjoy loving me and loving each other. Have a huge family that will fill the earth and look after the earth and enjoy the earth. Well, God carried on creating people, and all of them were made in His image, and all of them were different too. Some were men, and some were women. Some liked reading, and some liked riding bikes. Some had darker skin, some had lighter skin. Some had curly hair, and some had straight hair. We live in God's world. We are all different, but we are also all the same. Everyone you see is different than you, and the same as you. They might look different, or speak different, or play different, but they are all made in God's image, and so they are all valuable. This is God's very good idea. But people ruined God's very good idea. The first people chose not to love God. This is called sin. And because they chose not to love God as they should, they forgot how to love each other as they should. And we're the same. We choose not to love God, and so we're not able to love each other like we should. We sin. And sometimes we treat others badly because they're different than us. People fight with each other, people are mean to each other, people laugh at each other. Because we have ruined God's very good idea, He is not pleased with us. Our sin means we can't be friends with Him or enjoy living with Him. We need God's forgiveness for ruining His very good idea. And it's the same for everyone in the world. People who like reading need forgiveness. And people who like riding bikes need forgiveness. People with darker skin need forgiveness, and people with lighter skin need forgiveness. People with curly hair need forgiveness, and people with straight hair need forgiveness. But God was not surprised by people ruining things. He had always had a very good plan to rescue His very good idea. And so God got to work. He came to earth as a person, Jesus. Jesus loved people who were different than Him. He loved people who no one else loved. He always enjoyed loving all the different people He met. And Jesus shows us how to enjoy loving each other. But people didn't love Jesus. Instead, they hated Him. They put Him on a cross to die, but this was part of God's plan. On the cross, Jesus took our sin so that we can be forgiven. And Jesus forgives His people for their sins. Well, Jesus didn't stay dead. He rose back to life and then went back to live in heaven. And then He gave His people His Spirit to help them enjoy loving Him and loving all the different people they know. Jesus helps us to love each other. One day, God will finish His very good idea. Jesus will come back and make the world perfect again, and anyone who has asked Jesus to forgive them will live there with their different languages and skin colors. They will enjoy loving God and loving each other. They will enjoy praising God for making, rescuing, and finishing his very good idea. But here's a very, very, very good part of God's very good idea. You don't have to wait till then to enjoy it. Jesus welcomes anyone who asks him to forgive them. And when Jesus welcomes someone, he welcomes them into his family forever. He welcomes people who like reading and people who like riding bikes. He welcomes people with darker skin and people with lighter skin. He welcomes people with curly hair and people with straight hair. God's family is called the church. And your church friends are your brothers and sisters, your wonderful and colorful church family. And you can enjoy loving them and loving God with them. This is God's very good idea. Lots of different people enjoying loving him and loving each other. God made it. People ruined it. He rescued it. And he will finish it. And with your church family, you can enjoy being part of it right now. Well, the story in this book begins where all things begin, in Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created mankind in his own image, male and female, and God blessed them. And part of living a blessed life is to enjoy loving God and loving each other in his world. And every man, woman ever born is created in the image of God. Every tribe, tongue, and nation has the privilege of being part of this magnificent distinction. And as God's image bearers, we're all also equal in dignity and in worth, but we're also equally fallen. And this is why it's so wonderful that Jesus came to rescue people from every tribe, tongue, and nation. And one day, there will be a great multitude that no one can count from every nation, tribe, people, and language standing together before the throne and praising God. And this understanding that God has created each of us equally with dignity, value, and beauty should inform our views of one another. Knowing that we're made in his image and that he loves us enough to want to forgive us means that we can, with his Spirit's help, truly love one another. And only when we truly love one another can we change the world. Well, my kids, I'm praying for each and every one of you, and I really love you guys so much. Thank you for trusting me today enough to listen to me, and I'll see you soon.